This weekend at Cota went from looking like a really good race weekend to feeling like something genuinely special was unfolding right in front of us. And what makes it even more remarkable is that we did not just get one big story coming out of Circuit of the Americas, we got two of them. Two different series, two completely different storylines, and yet somehow both of them feel connected to something larger that is building in NASCAR right now. One of them has the potential to completely shake up the road course conversation in the Xfinity series. The other one is knocking on the door of outright history in the Cup series. If you are a real NASCAR fan, if you love road course racing, late-breaking dive bombs, and the kind of tension that builds when two elite drivers are going head-to-head with everything on the line, then this weekend at Cota was made for you. Before we get into all of it, if you enjoy this kind of real and detailed NASCAR breakdown, please take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are NASCAR Nation Report, and we are still a brand new channel working hard toward our first 5,000 subscribers. If you are the kind of fan who actually watches qualifying, follows the point standings, and genuinely cares about the details of this sport, then you are in exactly the right place. We would love to have you as part of this community from the very beginning. Now let's get into both of these stories because there is a lot to cover. The first big story coming out of this weekend is from the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and specifically from qualifying for the Focused Health 250 at Circuit of the Americas. And if you were a road course fan, the front row that was set for this race is exactly what you were hoping to see. Connor Zeilish went out in qualifying and absolutely ripped a lap that turned heads across the entire garage. Driving the #1 Chevrolet for JR Motorsports, Zeilish put down a lap of 1 minute and 37.740 seconds around the 2.44-mile layout. And that was not just a fast lap, that was a statement lap, the kind of lap that lets every other driver in the field know exactly who they are dealing with. What makes that qualifying effort even more impressive is the context around it. That pole was the 10th of his career in the Xfinity Series, and Zeilish is only 19 years old. 19! He reached 10 career poles in just his 37th career start in the series. That is a level of consistency at such a young age that is genuinely difficult to wrap your head around. And if that was not enough, he also won this exact race a year ago. So heading into race day, you had the defending winner on the pole at a track where he had already proven he knows how to close and get the job done when it matters most. But here is where the front row gets even more interesting. Starting right next to Zeilish in second place was Shane Van Gisbergen. He was just over 0.2 of a second slower in qualifying, but still comfortably the second fastest car on the grid. So what you had for the start of that race was two teammates from the Trackhouse Racing organization in the Cup Series, both running Chevrolets for JR Motorsports in the Xfinity race, lining up side by side on the front row at one of the most demanding road courses on the schedule. That dynamic alone makes the whole thing incredibly compelling before a single lap is even turned in anger. When you think about what Cota's first braking zone looks like at the start of a race, with two elite road course racers side by side going into that corner, you are basically setting up controlled chaos in the best possible way. Behind them, the rest of the top 10 was filled with genuine talent as well. Austin Hill, who won the season opener at Daytona, lined up third. Brandon Jones impressed a lot of people with a fourth-place qualifying run. Justin Allgaier, Carson Quapil, Brent Cruz, Sam Mayer, the previous week's winner Sheldon Creed, and Sammy Smith rounded out the top 10. There was serious depth all the way through that starting grid. Qualifying was not smooth for everyone, though. One Austin Hill, not to be confused with the Austin Hill who qualified third, had a mechanical failure during practice and was never able to turn a lap in qualifying at all. He had enough owner points to still make the field, so he'll start 38th, but that's a tough way to go into a race weekend. And the situation was even harder for two other drivers. With 40 cars entered and only 38 spots available, Josh Williams and Tyler Gonzalez both failed to qualify and went home without ever getting to take the green flag. You travel all the way to Cota, you unload your car, you prepare for a road course weekend, and then you do not even get to race. That is the brutal reality of what happens when the entry list fills up in this series. When you step back and look at the bigger picture of the Xfinity race, what stands out most is what Zilisch is becoming on road courses. He is not just fast anymore. He is becoming a genuine problem for everyone else at these tracks. And when you put him alongside Van Gisbergen, who most people would consider the most naturally gifted road course racer in the entire field right now, you are creating a rivalry that has real potential to define this series on road courses for the rest of the season. If Zilisch goes back-to-back at Cota and wins this race again, that is real momentum building at just 19 years old. But speaking of Van Gisbergen, that leads us to the second and arguably even bigger story of the weekend, because on Sunday in the Cup Series race at Cota, he was not just racing for a trophy, he was racing for history. Heading into the Cup race, Van Gisbergen had won 5 consecutive road course races to close out the previous season. If he could win at Cota on Sunday, he would tie Jeff Gordon's record for the longest road course winning streak in Cup Series history at 6 straight. Think about what that means for a moment. Jeff Gordon is one of the greatest road course racers this sport has ever seen. His name attached to any record is significant, and Van Gisbergen, still relatively early in his Cup Series career, was on the doorstep of matching it. The numbers he put up on road courses last season are almost hard to believe when you lay them all out. He ended the year winning 5 straight road course events. 3 of those wins came with margins that ranked among the biggest road course winning margins since 1996. He won at the first ever NASCAR race in Mexico City by 16.5 seconds. He won at Watkins Glen by 11 seconds. He won the Charlotte Roval by over 15 seconds. In 6 road course races as a rookie, he led more than half of all the laps run. He was inside the top 5 85% of the time. Less than 5% of his total laps were spent outside the top 10. Those are not normal numbers. That is what generational road racing talent looks like on paper. The interesting twist, though, is that Cota specifically has been the one track that has not gone his way. In his first Cup start there, he got caught speeding on pit road and finished 20th. In his second Cup start at the track, he led 23 laps but ended up 6th. He has been fast at Cota every single time he has shown up. He just hasn't been able to put together a complete race there and get the win. And now here he was, coming back with the record on the line, trying to finally solve the one road course puzzle that had escaped him. On top of the record chase, a win at Cota would also tie him with Chase Elliott for the most road course wins among active Cup Series drivers at 7. That is elite company by any measure. Kevin Harvick brought up the significance of all of this to Van Gisbergen directly in an interview, and you could tell he was fully aware of what was at stake. He said it would be pretty cool to tie that record, which is honestly about as understated as you can get about something that significant. Trackhouse Racing as an organization also came into this weekend in a stronger position than they were at the same point last year. They have grown, they are more stable, better prepared, and more ready to compete at the highest level on a consistent basis. All of that adds to the feeling that if there was ever going to be a weekend where Van Gisbergen finally gets Cota right, this was it. So what you had at Circuit of Americas this weekend was truly special. On Saturday, a potential Zilisch versus Van Gisbergen battle in the Xfinity Series between 2 of the best road course racers in the sport. On Sunday, a genuine shot at history in the Cup Series. This was not just another road course weekend on the schedule. This felt like a defining moment in the 2025 NASCAR season, the kind of weekend that you circle on the calendar and make sure you do not miss a single lap of.